Many newcomers in Finland would improve their careers greatly if they knew about the support systems Finland has for them. In addition, many face unexpected challenges because they don't know about the Finnish work customs and culture. For example, if you expect to work hard, you got the wrong country. So in this video I'm gonna reveal the 5 crucial things to know about working in Finland to keep you out of trouble, the 4 must-know unexpected things about Finnish work dynamics so you'll be prepared to work with Finns, and do you have to get naked with your co-workers? Let's find out. But let's start with the most important work document many newcomers miss. Imagine this, you're sitting at your desk on a typical Tuesday morning when you receive an unexpected email. It's from a colleague who just returned from their parental leave, and they're raving about their bank account saw a surprising increase during their time away. Curiosity piqued, and you decide to dig deeper. That's when you discover the magic of Finland's collective labor agreements, or työehtosopimus, TES in short. So this document ensures fair wages and working conditions in Finland covering salaries, working hours and benefits. And negotiated by the unions and employers, it sets the industry standards and protects workers' rights. So the TES guarantees at least the minimum wage in the industry and binds employers, preventing them to make worse terms in the job contracts. And there are no loopholes, just fair play. And sometimes TES can allow local bargaining, which means the employer and the employees can negotiate on the terms. For example, usually if you take parental leave, you get money from the social security Kela, but the TES can rule that instead of getting the Kela money, your employer just pays the regular salary, which is usually pretty much always higher than the social security money. So while you're changing diapers, your employer is changing your bank account for the better. For example, in one of my past jobs, we had the IT service sector TES. So the action point is that when you get the job offer, make sure to check what TES they are using, if any. It should be always mentioned in the job contract. And you can actually find these TES just online by Googling it. And it's actually a kind of lengthy document where you can, for example, use ChatGPT to summarize the key points for you. But what if something unpleasant happens at work? There are 2 key players who will help you. And one of them is the unexpected ally. Imagine this. You've just moved to Finland and started your first job in Finland. Everything seems fine until you notice a slight discrepancy on your paycheck. Unsure how to address and confront the management about this problem, your colleague mentions you a key player called the shop steward, luottamusmies. So you gather courage and approach the shop steward, who happens to be an approachable and knowledgeable person. They listen, review your situation, and start working on it. The issue will be solved within days, and you're back in business, and your salary is fixed like no tomorrow. And not only the shop steward help you to solve this problem, but they also give you guidance on work policies and information about the TES and many more things, ensuring you feel more confident and knowledgeable at your new job. So when you start working, you immediately want to know who is the shop steward in your company. It's usually someone among the employees. They're like an office Yoda, guiding you to a labyrinth of office policies. Want to be more confident about your move to Finland? I have an easy flowchart guide for the necessary paperwork steps when moving to Finland. And if you want to be more confident, grab the guide from the link in the description. What if you have even more trouble at work or need legal assistance or someone to check if your contract is actually legal? There's a secret team you want to join as soon as possible. Here's a personal story. So in one of my previous jobs, I noticed that my employer was paying me less salary than that was outlined in the TES agreement. And I talked with my colleagues, they actually had the same problem, and we tried to confront the management about it, but they just didn't really want to find a solution. So we decided to contact a secret team that provided us legal assistance and expertise for free. And they were incredibly supportive. They guided us to the entire process. They even joined some meetings. They even communicated with my employer with that. And we eventually found a solution to fix the problem. So who was this team? It was the unions, ammattiliitot. So unfortunately, I read almost every week Reddit threads about foreigners who think that their employers are not paying enough money or they're somehow getting tricked. And the truth is that unfortunately many foreigners don't know their working rights, and there are also some schmucks who exploit these people. But Finnish unions are incredibly supportive, offering assistance with anything work related, from salary disputes to legal issues. And in addition, they also provide benefits and discounts, and each sector has its own union as well. And most importantly, at the time of recording this video, the union membership fees are tax deductible, making it a no-brainer to join. So when you start working in Finland, make sure to join a union from day one. If you don't know which union you choose, there's a good site called työelämään.fi where you can find like a list of these, more information about these unions. For example, I'm a member of TEC, which is a like professional community for academic engineers and architects. There's also a professoriliitto, like the Teacher Union, and OI is the union for teachers and educational professionals. But you can also ask your shop steward what union works for you. So make sure, find out what union you need to join and join that as soon as possible. But what if you get fired? How can you support yourself? Well, there are 2 safety nets you need to know about. So imagine you've lived in Finland for a year, enjoyed the Finnish charm, the locals, the sauna culture, the people, everything. But suddenly you receive an email from your employer that they're downsizing and your position is being eliminated. Panic sets in as you worry about rent, groceries, and how you're going to support yourself. But luckily a Finnish friend of yours will tell you about these Finnish safety nets, 2 of them. They share their story of losing their job but staying afloat thanks to these safety nets. With the Finnish unemployment benefits and a special fund, even better assistance. So if you find yourself unemployed, there are 2 ways to get ahead. The general unemployment työttömyystuki from Kela. And this provides like a flat rate support, which you can apply from Kela's website, but you also need to register yourself as a job seeker at the TE office. It's like the unemployment office we call it in Finnish. But the second option, which is better, is the unemployment fund, työttömyyskassa. So when you join a union, most often you also get a membership to an unemployment fund. And the big perk is that you will actually get paid a percentage of your salary instead of just the general flat rate from the unemployment benefits. The benefit from the fund is pretty much always higher than the flat rate. Think it like this. It's like a trampoline that doesn't just like soften your fall, but also bounces you back in business. For example, when I joined Tech Union, I also got the membership for KOKO, the unemployment fund for the highly educated. But remember, if you quit your job voluntarily, there's usually this like a penalty period, like currency. I think it's around 30 to 45 days, which you have to wait without any benefits. So keep that in mind. But if you get fired, then there's no penalty fee. So make sure to check which unemployment fund suits you if you get also a fund with your union. But then there's also a big mistake that can increase your tax rate to 60%. And we already have a high taxes in Finland. So imagine that you just landed in your first job in Finland and you're expecting your first paycheck, only to realize like, oh 60% deduction. What happened? Well, it's more about what didn't happen because you forgot to get a tax card from the tax office. So the tax card ensures that you have the right amount of taxes deducted from your gross salary. So you need to go to the tax office either by in person or using the online services if you have the online banking credentials and request it there. And the most simple, and how do you do it? Well, you just tell the people there that how much your gross salary for the entire year from Finland is, and they will calculate you the rate, and then you just need to forward the card to your employer and then they will deduct the right amount of tax. Make sure to do that. But what about the Finnish work culture and dynamics so you will know what to do when dealing with Finns at work? You want to enjoy life when Finland is closed. So again, your first summer in Finland is about to arrive and you're at work. Workload is intense, but you're enjoying it, getting to know the colleagues and stuff. On one day when you're at the break room having coffee with your Finnish colleagues, one of them tells like, hey, they're gonna take an entire month of July off. And you're stunned like, what, really? Entire month? And you jokingly think, did I join a vacation club instead of a company? And then you start to dig deeper and you realize that in Finland, you actually get 2 days per month paid holiday. And when you stay longer with the company, it will increase to 30 or 2.5 per month. And this policy is of course in place to make sure that you will get to enjoy life and take some time off and recharge. And here's the kicker. In Finland, we have the saying that in July, Finland is closed because most people take their holidays, paid holidays in July. And it's pretty much impossible to do business with Finnish people, Finnish companies, because everyone's on holiday. So all the decisions and everything has to be either done before or after July. Good luck trying to get anyone answering your calls or emails. And here's another interesting thing. Even if Finland is not really religious at all, we still have a lot of bank holidays deriving from their religion. For example, Ascension Day, Helatorstai, and Epiphany, Loppiainen. So these come from the religious traditions and they're still free bank holidays. Think it of as an extra me time thanks to the ancient traditions. And remember, you always need to agree with your boss on the holidays, so you cannot just leave the office and not tell anyone. I wish you could do that, but no. Be blunt, be honest, be awesome. So again, imagine that you're having your first weeks at the Finnish office and you're gonna have a meeting that's scheduled to start at 9 a.m. You're at the office and you see that by 8:59, all your colleagues are already there waiting for the meeting to start. And it will, promptly at 9. So the Finnish work culture is often characterized by direct communication and punctuality. So we like to follow schedules, meeting deadlines, and also planning ahead. For example, if a meeting starts 9, it will start 9. No minute earlier, no minute later. Of course, sometimes life happens and some people might arrive late, but 9 means 9 sharp. And if a project deadline is set on Friday, usually people have done their parts by Thursday so that they can have also do some final adjustments. We also take word by face value. If you promise to do something, deliver something by Friday, we also expect you to do it. So once you're given a task, we don't really monitor that you actually do it. So if you're given a task, we expect that you do it and you don't need any help. But if you need help, it's completely fine to ask for that. So be punctual, keep to your commitments, and ask help if needed. Then you also want to get friendly. So again, during your first weeks, you will see actually the CEO of the company walking in. His name is Mikko. He's a tall man. As the CEO, he grabs a coffee and turns to you, introducing himself. Hi, I'm Mikko. What's your name? And they do what just happened? Did the CEO just introduce himself with the first name only? And as weeks goes on, you see that everyone actually do that. They just introduce themselves and addresses each other's with first name only. But then you realize like how this casual and open environment makes it easier to communicate with people. So in Finland, we don't have a strict hierarchy to get things done. So the flat hierarchy is the hallmark of Finnish working culture. So we drop the titles, we use first names, and we don't really have like this high rank, lower rank thing at all. And this casual tone, relaxed tone also extends to superiors, CEOs, and even board members of the company. And also sirs, madams, out of the window, not really Finnish at all. That also means that you don't really need to work your way to talk to a higher up. In my opinion, you can just knock on their door and ask if they have time and you can start the chat that way. And maybe in bigger corporations, it might be more difficult to actually find these people. But the thing is that you can actually talk to pretty much anyone as long as you just remember common sense. So embrace the informal atmosphere. Go ahead and barge into Mikko's CEO office to talk about your groundbreaking idea. Maybe just knock first. Next tip, go home. So imagine again, you landed your first job and you want to give a good impression during your first days and weeks. On your first day, around 1600, you notice that people are actually packing and going home. Like, what is this sorcery? By 5 p.m., it's already empty. Back at home, staying home was the norm. So what the heck is going on? So you ask your colleague and you just realize like, hey, in Finland, we work from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 and we're done. No one expects you to stay late or work at home unless you want. So in Finland, the work-life balance is taken very seriously. It's about doing the job more efficiently rather than clocking in crazy hours. And regular breaks are encouraged to maintain like well-being and productivity. And once the day is over, it's over. Bosses won't call your email after hours and you're not even required to pick it up. Believe it or not, they actually want you to have a life and enjoy life. Go figure. Next tip, get naked at work. So personal story time. I got my first sales job after university in Helsinki at this IT company. On the first day we had some basic training, onboarding, pretty bread and butter. And then the boss invited me to his place for a sauna. So on my first day I was naked, enjoying long drink with the CEO, CTO, and COO. That escalated quickly. Well, fair enough, we were all men, and if there had been any women, of course we would have worn swimwear. But WTF, welcome to Finland. So in Finland, many companies offer also these free time activities like events or sports clubs or sauna events and so on, after work dinners. And of course the idea is to connect with the co-workers and kind of make sure that there's also some fun stuff included in the work. One very good example is the pre-Christmas parties, pikkujoulu, like during December. And usually there's just like big dinners and maybe some fun activities. And then people usually go have parties and they get drunk and that kind of things. So don't be shocked if they have these sauna events. You don't have to get naked. You can of course use swimwear. You also don't have to drink if you don't want to. I sometimes just drink Pepsi Max or non-alcohol stuff. But I really recommend to participate these events to the extent that it's comfortable to you, just so that you can also get to know your work buddies informally. Plus, who doesn't love a sauna session? It's like an icebreaker without the ice, of course. And also getting a bank account is important, and if you don't do it right, it can delay your first salary payments. Click here to learn how to get an account quick and fast.